So for the last 6 years or so, your man Jermaine Cole has been on a legendary run. It kicked off with his album KOD and has continued through incredible guest appearances. He gave fire verses to everyone from Benny the Butcher to Summer Walker. And all that energy was to culminate with the release of his long anticipated album, The Fall Off. Everything is wrestling, so he was gonna finish the story like Cody Rhodes, right? However, after responding to Kendrick Lamar's Like That, which was mostly shots at Drake, with his own warning shots called 7 Minute Drill, J. Cole conceded at his festival, his moment. He shared that he didn't like how battling made him feel, and he opted to give it up. Now, Armond WakeUp, the MC, is incredibly disappointed. But Armond WakeUp, the human, the believer, the wellness practitioner, I think that this brings up a very interesting conversation that I believe hip hop needs to have. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? My name is Armond WakeUp. I'm a communicator, I'm a connector, I'm a curator, I'm also a creative. Head over to ArmondWakeUp.com if you want to connect with me on a deeper level, be it my Instagram, my newsletter, my Patreon, all that good stuff. I love facilitating safe spaces in order to explore context. So let's have this conversation. If you listen to my podcast, Clock Radio Speakers, you know that I've been very critical of J. Cole. I've always thought that he was a fantastic lyricist. I always thought he had all the tools to be great, but he wasn't quite putting everything together the way it needed to be. But starting with KOD and continuing this insane run over the last 6 years, he's 100% made me a believer. So I was excited for The Fall Off. I'm a big fan of the art of battle rap, be it Smack DVD, be it URL, RBE, be it Jay-Z versus Nas. I'm here for all of it. And in hip hop, we know that all of the greats are battle tested, be it publicly on a stage or coming up in their neighborhoods, in the school cafeteria, wherever. In order to be the greatest, you gotta cut down everybody else in your path. That's just the rule. And the rhymes that J. Cole had been writing very much were in the direction of, I'm the greatest and I will cut down whoever is in my path to wear that crown. But as I was researching this video, I realized that this is not the first time that he's conceded to a battle. In fact, it's been kind of recent. You know, there was this situation with the female MC named No Name back in 2020, 2021, where she called him and other mainstream artists out for not being vocal enough about the civil unrest that was going on in America, specifically, you know, the brutal murders of George Floyd and the like. Cole responds with a track called Snow on the Bluff, but then later backtracks on Twitter and, you know, concedes to No Name. Go back a little further to KOD. He ends that album with a song called The Fall Off, where he targets Lil Pump and a generation of artists who were acting like him, essentially saying that sort of lifestyle and that sort of mindset does not produce longevity in hip hop. Lil Pump responded very brash. At a concert, he got the crowd to chant FJ Cole. Cole's response was to have a sit down with Lil Pump and mentor him. That's not necessarily conceding to a battle, but by hip hop rules, you were supposed to take his head off and you didn't. So hindsight being 2020, we kind of should have expected J. Cole to do this. As mental health becomes more prevalent and popular in our society, you have people who are doing the work, going to therapy, deconstructing their faith, having conversations, all in an effort to be better versions of themselves. And now they are re-engaging familiar spaces with new set of eyes. You've got people who deconstructed Christianity that are now returning to church. So now you have rapidy rap lyrical miracle MCs, and not only are they re-engaging hip hop, they're re-engaging what it means to be considered the best in hip hop. And that means going to war. We know that war is a necessary part of hip hop. As I said earlier, every MC you know is battle tested. It is a rite of passage. But in a journey to be well and be whole, what if you find out that that's not really your bag? That's not really who you are? does that automatically disqualify you from being great? Because hip hop is always gonna be what it is. This video is not me saying that we need to get rid of this ideology that war is an unnecessary component of greatness. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, when I listen to 7 Minute Drill, it's a temperature check. And I originally believed that it was a temperature check to ask Kendrick Lamar if this was something that he wanted to pursue further. But in reality, it's really an internal thing. J. Cole is asking himself, is he prepared to do what it takes in order to engage in this kind of war? And I think that Cole's relationship with Kendrick is what led him to self-assess in that way. And for those of you who are saying, this is not rap beef, this is not 50 Cent versus Ja Rule, this is strictly bars. You ever like slap box with your boy and he hits you a little too hard, and then he hits you hard again, and in your mind you're like, wait a minute, like, we supposed to be playing, but he's really hitting me. Do I swing back, or do I say, nah, you got it? I believe that's what this is. And I believe Cole decided that this wasn't worth it. Because again, this is who he is. The greatest battle of all time to me is Jadakiss versus Beanie Sigel. For the better part of a year, those two gentlemen traded bombs. And not only did they come out unscathed, they came out legendary. I wholeheartedly believe that in a similar fashion, J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar would have traded bombs and been able to take the other MC's best shot. I believe that we were in for a treat. And what's interesting to me is when I listen to Might Delete Later, which is the project that 7 Minute Drill is included on, there's a lot of like gun bars. And I'm like, dog, that's not you. Your whole gimmick is the antithesis of violence. You are the quintessential everyman. You are not wealthy and inaccessible like Jay-Z. You are not tormented by your genius like Kanye West. You are not petty and ego-driven like a Drake. You are accessible, you are humble, you desire peace. That is your entire branding. So when I hear you talking about loading up clips in X, Y, and Z, it makes me question, is this a uniform that J. Cole has put on because that's what he believes, and to a degree that's what we believe as hip-hop fans, that's the type of aggression you need to present in order to position yourself as great. You have to ask for smoke. You have to take down all challenges. And I think Cole conceding to this battle bodes the question, do you? You know, the thing about war and the thing about rap beef is that it's produced many casualties. We literally have rappers who have died because of it. War has many traits that you can say are toxic and destructive. And if you are doing the work to be better mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you can take a look at that and say, I'm not gonna do that. And I think hip hop as a whole has to have the conversation to say, is that okay? And does that disqualify J. Cole and anyone else like him from being great? I think in a traditional sense, J. Cole's done. Do I think he's removed himself as one of the big three? To a degree, yes. But I do think time is going to be very, very friendly to this decision. Essentially, I believe that Cole took a sword to the chest and sacrificed his own desire to be great in order to have a conversation about what that means, and not necessarily to destroy the ideology and determine that war is unnecessary, but maybe in all these different lanes of hip hop, maybe we need to make another one. There's a 13-year-old kid who was sitting in that crowd at the Dreamville Festival or was watching it online, and he's already an amazing MC, but he doesn't want to have to battle or tear someone down lyrically in order to wear that crown. Maybe that kind of activity is triggering for him. So do we not label him great simply because he didn't want to battle? You know, hip hop is turning 50 this year. When you turn 50, maybe some of the ways that you thought when you were 20 or 30, they don't really. So if you want to continue to have that conversation with me and explore, there are several ways to do that. You can either comment below on this video. You can head over to my Instagram at Armond WakeUp. You can sign up for my newsletter at armondwakeup.com. Or if you really want to get in the weeds, you can join either one of my Patreons, my personal one at Armond WakeUp, or my hip hop podcast, Clock Radio Speakers at CRS Podcast. All that information will be in the description. But let me know, man, what do you think? Do we have space to explore different definitions of greatness? And is the criteria for greatness in hip hop at a place where it can be modified or expanded? Let me know. My name is Armond WakeUp. Thank you guys for watching.